Hello and welcome to today's speed build. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining us, and if not, welcome back. So today we are building our Halloween build of the year. This is the Halloween build, and I am so excited to share this with you all because it genuinely took me so long to do this build. This is a long video, which you can tell, and I apologize in advance for how long it is, but there was a lot to this build. And when I was editing down the video, I believe I had like 8 hours of footage. So yeah, this was a very time consuming build, and I genuinely am so happy with how it turned out. And I'm just so excited to share it with you all. So I really hope you like it. I hope you're comfortable and you're settled and maybe you have a snack, because this is a super fun one. So we are building in the world of Ravenwood. Now this, if you don't know, is the world that we got with the Life or Death expansion pack. And I am building a very familiar, very iconic home right now. If you don't know, we are building the house from the Addams Family. So this is from I think it's the 90s movie. I'm sure it's the 90s that it came out. I'm building that rendition of this house, and I want to say it's like a basic, or it's like a generic shape, because it is, but it was actually a lot more intricate and a lot harder to build than I thought it would be. And I didn't so much struggle with it, but it definitely took me quite a bit of time to work out exactly how to make everything flow together and how to make it actually look like the Addams Family household. So yeah, I had a lot of fun, but yeah, it took me a long time. Now, I don't even think I've said yet, but we are doing a sort of challenge with this speed build where every room is a different Halloween movie or a scary movie of some kind. Now, there is a lot of movies in this lineup, so I'm gonna list them off in no particular order, but this is just gonna give you a little bit of insight to what to see or what to expect in this build. So we've got Coraline, The Nightmare Before Christmas, Corpse Bride, Beetlejuice, Addams Family, which is of course the exterior, Nightmare on Elm Street, we have Hocus Pocus, The Shining, It, Alien, Little Shop of Horrors, we also have Casper, and we have Chucky. And I don't know if it's worth saying, but we do also have Psycho, technically, because I did all of the bathrooms as the Psycho bathroom, which I wasn't sure if it was worth even mentioning, because Psycho is like a very generic looking bathroom, but that is what I based it off of, and I thought it made sense because it's a very iconic scene. And yeah, I was trying to go for things that made sense and that kind of worked. So yeah, we have a lot of movies and we have a lot of rooms, and this house is very deceiving because I feel like it does look big from the outside, but I don't know, I don't think it feels as big as it actually is. Now, I do have a little bit of a secret with this build, and I'm super excited to share it with you all. So you're probably thinking, okay, we got a lot of like individual rooms, which we do, but we do also have a attic. Okay, now the attic is one massive room. There's no little rooms. It's just one big room, and that big room is actually the circus from Coraline. Now, that's the only thing I wanted to share before I did it, because I feel like it was just something worth saying, just in case you were thinking, oh, like every room's just going to be very kind of, it's just going to be a bunch of rooms over and over again. No, there is a little bit of a surprise with the last room, with it being kind of in the attic and being the circus. So yeah, I definitely, if there's any room that I want you to see, I would really love you to see that one at least, because I just thought it was really cool and I thought it was a nice idea. So yeah, and also, I don't think I would have fit the Coraline circus anywhere else. So, yeah, I thought it made sense. Now, as I was saying, I went for Addams Family for the outside. I actually was very torn between doing Addams Family and doing the like Pink Palace, the apartments from Coraline, but I decided to do this one just because I don't know. I feel like people are definitely, they've been watching Wednesday recently, and it's great. I really like Wednesday. But I said this recently, but I watched Addams Family for the first time this month, which is crazy. And I loved it so much. I really need to watch the second one. I might watch it on Friday because it's Halloween on Friday. I think I'm going to watch the second one. And I loved it. I thought it was so good. Not to say that Wednesday isn't, because I really like that as well, but it was so good. And yeah, I just loved it. I love the style. I love the way the house looks, and as soon as I seen the house, I was very like, I want to build that. Like, that looks like something that I would want to build, you know? So, yeah, that is why I settled on doing the Addams Family, and yeah, hopefully you like it. I'm actually super proud of how it turned out. I did add a little bit of, like, landscaping to the outside at the end, which I don't show on camera, but just thought I'd mention it. It wasn't loads, it was just a little bit because I felt like having it just placed there maybe didn't look natural. So yeah, there's a little bit of landscaping, but I do it off camera. Now, I think we do spend quite a bit of time on the exterior, but I think we're going to move on to the interior very, very soon. It actually took me a very long time to come up with a floor plan, and I always struggle with floor plans. I'm very transparent with that. It's definitely the thing that I struggle with most. Whenever I do builds, floor plans don't come very easily to me. So it takes me a very long time. Like, I sit there for ages trying to plan it out. And I don't know, I just really struggled. But I ended up coming up with a floor plan that I thought made sense, and I feel like was probably the best way I could have done it. Because I was doing every room as a different thing, I couldn't really have an open plan house. And I think sometimes open plan houses are just significantly easier to make. Um, I just feel like sometimes they come together much easier, whereas I don't know, whereas when you have a space that is kind of divided into lots of individual rooms, I don't know, I just find that they're harder to do. Like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe people disagree, but I find that. Now, you can see that the exterior has came together so nicely. I did cut a lot of it out, like me doing the back of the build, and then also just me like tweaking it a little bit because I did make it slightly larger, but it was very boring footage, and I felt like we had already spent a very long time on the exterior. So yeah, hopefully that's okay. But we're starting with room number 1. So this is the living room. Now, this ends up being, let's see if you can guess, this is Hocus Pocus. Now, I am going to be so honest, I've never seen Hocus Pocus. Now, which is crazy, I'm pausing for the gasps, but I am very aware that I need to watch it because I get told by everyone, like my boyfriend, my friends, you need to watch it. It's something that you would love. And I definitely get that vibe from it. So when I was building these rooms, I had Pinterest up. I was looking at a lot of like boards, trying to kind of figure out the best way to go about doing things, the best way to make things feel like the movies that they were based on. And I actually asked my boyfriend to help me a lot with this room because he has seen Hocus Pocus, and he was very, very helpful with telling me, okay, well, you need to include like a cat, like a black cat, they do ride brooms. That was something that I had to search because I wanted to make sure that they did. I found out that they don't use any wands, so I did not include any wands. I'm trying to think what else. I found out that one of them rides a mop. Now, we don't have mops in The Sims, but we do have like a scrubby kind of, what's it called? Like a scrubby broom stick. I don't know how to explain it, with like a sponge on the end. So I did include one of those. And yeah, I just was trying to find little key details and add them in. So yeah, I added a few different things. I was asking my boyfriend like if he knew any if he knew, knew any little like Easter eggs that I had to put in. And I'm sure there is a few. I can't think of them just now, but if I see myself place them, I will let you know. But yeah, now as far as I'm concerned, it's a very kind of cottagey, witchy, of course, vibe. And there's lots of lights, there's lots of candles, there's lots of just plants, and there's cobwebs, and yeah, it has a very specific feel to it. I was going kind of with the idea of a cottage, and yeah, I just kind of went with that and ran with it. And honestly, I was so happy with how it turned out. That was me putting in a ladder, by the way, and then not realizing that it was the complete wrong ladder. I don't know what I was thinking. Honestly, with a few of these rooms, I do things and I'm like, I don't know why I did that, but okay, so for a little bit of backstory with this build as well, I started this build last week. As I say, it did take a very long time, but I started it last week, and I'd done this room. This was the first room I did, and I was feeling pretty good, and I was taking like quite good breaks in between doing things, and I feel like that really helps, especially when I'm build. Like, it definitely helps tremendously. But the past week I've been covering at work, so I haven't been getting home till like 8 o'clock. And so I'm getting home and I'm like having some dinner and then like I'm building. I'm straight into building, kind of, looking at Pinterest boards, putting things together, editing, things like this. And yeah, I think for some of these rooms, like I did certain things, or like I put certain things in and I looked at it and I was like, why did I do that? Like, that doesn't make sense. And like I changed them, and yeah, it was just small things like that. It was almost like I was very, do you ever have that? I have it when I build like really late at night. Sometimes things just don't make any sense. But I think that is honestly the fun. I think that's the fun of The Sims, the like things don't need to make sense. Oh, this was me, by the way, adding a wand, and then I was like, no, they don't have wands, and I checked. I'm probably on Google right now checking, and yeah, I took it away. But yeah, I was kind of happy that I fact checked that, because I feel like people would have maybe mentioned like, oh, they don't actually use wands. So yeah, I was happy that I did double check that. But oh, I love this room, and honestly, this is one of my favorite rooms. And I know that even though I've not seen it, I love it. I think it looks incredible. Like, not to toot my own horn, but I really like how it turned out. I think with a lot of movies, especially Halloween movies, it's hard. I think when you're doing maybe more cartoony rooms, it's a little bit easier for, well, it was easier for me in the more animated film rooms to do them, because I felt like there was more I could do. But see, when it came to things like, for example, The Shining and like Psycho, those were very difficult because they're real movies. They have, real actors, and it's not animated. And so adding details is different, because with horror movies, things are more eerie, so more open, long corridors, blank walls. Everything feels eerie and off and a little bit creepy. Whereas I feel like when it comes to things like Tim Burton movies, everything is very cluttered and full, and there's yeah, it may be like very grayscale, but there's a lot of detailing. And I think they're just two very different vibes, and throughout this whole build, that's something that I was trying my best to kind of get on board with. Like, I would do this room, for example, and then I'd move on to the next. I'd be like, oh, this doesn't look as full as the last one I did. And it's like, well, yeah, you're doing two completely different movies. Like, that's gonna happen. But yeah, it was just something I wanted to mention because I don't know, I like being very transparent with you guys. I love talking about my thought process with my builds, and I really hope that you guys don't mind that. I know that a lot of people like the chattiness and the kind of rambling. So, which I appreciate so much because I'm really bad for it. Like, I noticed it in work, and I get told it a lot that I'm really good at just being able to speak. Like, I would just talk. And sometimes I think I do it in a nervous way, but sometimes I think I just, if I get very passionate about something, I talk. In fact, I was talking to my friend the other day at work, and we were talking about movies we'd seen. And a movie that I love, well, I loved when I was young, and I still really like it, is Labyrinth, the one with like David Bowie. And I can't believe that the girl that's in it. Oh, why can I not think of her name now? Well, she's like she plays Melanie in Snowpiercer, which to me is just crazy. It's like this massive crossover. I'm gonna like remember her name at like any moment, but yeah. So like that movie, I love it so much, and I was talking about that, and I think I spoke about it for so long, like Connolly. I'm pretty sure that's who's in it. Jennifer Connolly. I was like, I was like, I know that name's gonna come to me. Yeah, anyway, I spoke about it for so long, and then I moved on to Safura, which is another movie I really like. Spoke about it for so long, and my friend, like, bless her, she just listened. She was just like, yeah, like, that's really good, Hannah. Yeah, it's just, it definitely helps with doing videos like this because I can definitely talk. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. I just wanted to mention that I definitely know how to talk. Anyways, we've moved on to the next room, and you might hear my chair creak just now. I'm really sorry. My chair is really creaky, and I don't know why. I think something needs tightened in it, but yeah, it's very creaky every time I move. Um, but yeah, we have moved on to the hallway, and we are doing The Shining. Now, I thought it was such a good idea to do The Shining for the hallway because, like, most of The Shining is hallways. There is obviously iconic scenes. Like, I thought about doing the bathroom, but it is just a bathroom. It's just that he breaks through the door and is like, "Here's Johnny." But yeah, I was like, how do I incorporate that into a build? So instead of doing that, I decided to do the hallways. I feel like they're very iconic. I've got the twins, which I thought was super cool. I've got like a knife because I felt like that was very fitting. It really brought the vibe. Now, as I was building this, I was like, what can I add to this space? Like, what can I add to this to make it more shining? So what I did is initially I was like, I'm going to put these desks together because I don't know if you guys remember the movie or if you've seen the movie, but there's like a scene where he's in a very big hall and he's got a little desk and he's sitting at it and he's writing the same thing over and over. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. But then I was like, well, why don't I make an office? Because, you know, it makes so much sense for this build to have an office. And I started with like building the office and making it kind of like subtle, but then I do end up just making it the office. I end up just making it the office from the movie. So the office that I'm talking about is at the start of the movie. I believe it's the start. Yeah, at the very beginning of the movie, Jack Nicholson, which his name in the movie is Jack as well. Yeah, his name is Jack, I'm pretty sure, because yeah, his name's Jack. I was getting confused on if his name is Johnny, but like his name is Jack. Anyway, Jack Nicholson. So he goes for like a job interview to actually work here because he has to work here half of the year. Well, half of the year with no people because otherwise things won't run and things won't work because the place will get too cold and there won't be any maintenance. And yeah, he pretty much needs to maintain this place on his own for like 6 months, which would drive anyone insane. And honestly, The Shining, I love it, but it terrifies me. I think it's a terrifying movie, and I would not watch it on my own. Like, it's one of those psychological ones where I just couldn't watch it alone. My dad loves this movie, so I wanted to do justice to the build. But yeah, there's this little office, and this is where he gets the job and like does the job, and it's such a key moment. Especially if you've seen it, you'll know that this is just such a important thing to have. Now, it starts off like this, and then I end up actually more replicating it instead. But I just thought it was cool. I thought if there's any build to have the shining office in, I mean, it's going to be this one. So I added this in. I honestly love how it looks. I think it was super cool. I don't know. I just felt really like happy with it when it was done. So yeah, this is the office space, and it's functional as well, so you can actually use this as an office. I originally didn't put a computer in here, but I did realize for functioning purposes it was probably best to add one, just because in case you guys actually want to play with this house and then you want, I mean, there's loads of desks and computers, but I thought in case you wanted like a designated space for your Sims to actually play or do work or whatever, yeah, we could have it in here. But yeah, I really like it. Actually, come to speak of it, I don't know if you would actually want to download this build. I feel like it's a very show build. Now it is completely functional. Like, I've got a sim living in there right now, and it's kind of haunted because there's a lot of creepy dolls. And I mean, she's in Ravenwood, and yeah, I think honestly, like, it's a little bit haunted. But if you wanted to play with it, you so could. Like, I think it would be super fun, but I wasn't too sure how many people would want to, so it isn't on the gallery for that reason. But yeah, let me know if you want it, because I'm more than happy to put it up there. I'm really bad for putting things on the gallery, so please just let me know. Now here is me trying to work out what to do with this kind of elevator area. So this is supposed to be the elevators, but I couldn't find a door for the life of me that made sense here. And I did try and use the actual like elevator looking door, but it just didn't look right. So I ended up going for these like red doors, which I was gonna swap out, but I was like, actually, I think they look best just being as they were. But yeah, and then I put these little dividers around them, and I thought it looked pretty cool. So yeah, hopefully you like that as well. But yeah, I think I just had some paintings. Oh yeah, I did up some of the walls. I was trying to just make it look a bit like more than one scene, because in the corridors they have these like kind of paneling white walls, but in some other scenes they have this more brown and white wallpaper. So yeah, I was just trying to do a mixture of everything, try and get all of the aspects of the movie in there. And here's when I decided to actually, which I feel like was a good idea. And it's a typewriter, which if you've seen the movie, you'll know. Very accurate. Now we're moving on to the kitchen area. I love this kitchen. So we are doing the, I would have you guess, but I feel like it takes too long to even work out what I'm doing. So yeah, if you want to guess what I'm building right now, drop a comment down below. What do you think this is? And comment before I say it so that I know you're not cheating. But we ended up doing the kitchen as the It kitchen, or not the It kitchen, but we ended up doing it as the movie It. Now, I didn't have a super massive reason for this, but the idea behind it was Derry is a like 50s, well, it's set in the 50s, and Derry is where they live. They have a lot of like diners and stuff, you know, because it's very like 50s. And so I thought, well, the kitchen could definitely represent some kind of diner, and I felt like that was very fitting with Derry, like the place. And so that was kind of my mindset for it. That was how I came up with this. I thought it made sense. Now It is one of those movies where I've seen it. I actually used to be very obsessed with it. It was like, do you guys remember when everyone was like so obsessed with It, and then it kind of went over to Stranger Things? Mine was the opposite. Mine was like, I was obsessed with Stranger Things, and then I went over to It. But I really like both the It movies. I think they're really good, but I am very scared of clowns. Like in my biggest fears, well, one of them is clowns, and yeah, they really scare me. And It, like Pennywise, scares me so much. Especially Pennywise in the It, like in like Stephen King's, and especially Pennywise in the like newer adaptation, like as opposed to like the original movie, really scares me. I think he's terrifying. I think he's so scary. And I don't know, maybe it's like, maybe it's just me, but I think he's terrifying. Um so yeah, I actually had a lot of fun building this. But I was thinking about him the whole time, and when I was looking up Pinterest like photos for this one, honestly, I was a little bit scared. Like, I was too scared to even look at the photos that much. I was like, I think I'm just gonna wing it because, in fact, okay, this is really bad, but I was gonna do The Exorcist for one of these rooms, and I went to look it up, and I realized that The Exorcist, like the woman from The Exorcist, really scares me, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't stomach like sitting looking at it in building, so I decided against it. So yeah, we now have other things in its place, but hopefully that's okay. But I tried to decorate this room like an actual kitchen. You know, I wanted it to be functional as a kitchen. I wanted you to be able to play with this build. And I wanted it to have a diner vibe. But it's the other things I add that kind of bring it that more scary vibe. Now, you can see I've got a balloon here. I'm actually so happy with how this turned out because I wasn't sure how to do this at first. But what I did was I got this balloon. I think it might be like a debug water balloon. I sized it up and then I used the tool mod so that I could turn it. And then I took one of the brooms from the Realm of Magic pack, and I used the tool mod to flip it upside down, and then I just positioned it underneath the balloon, and I made it white to make it kind of look like a little balloon, and then I put some lights inside it just so it had a little bit of a glow to it. But yeah, I know it's I know it's just sitting in the middle, but honestly, I really like it. I think it looks really cool, and I was really pleased with how it turned out. Oh, I also included the drain because I feel like you cannot have it without the drain, because that is where it all started. That is where everything begun. Now, I also took these newspapers and put them on the wall. That is because I feel like in that world, in the world of like it, as I say, it was very old. So, okay, I'm not saying that newspapers are old. I feel like I've dug myself in it there. They're not old. But, you know, newspapers they're still much a thing. But back then, that was your source of media. I feel like that was your source of getting news, was a newspaper. And yeah, I just feel like in the It movies, I don't know, I feel like there's papers because I'm pretty sure, unless I'm misremembering, doesn't one of them like read a paper and they see something to do with Pennywise? I'm so sure that's a thing. Unless I have just made that up. But yeah. Anyway, that was my reasoning behind it. Now, with these rooms, I did do a lot of light changing. So by that I mean changing the colour of the lights, because honestly it changes the build drastically. So this is something that every time I logged in, I had to change the lights back, and I don't know why. I don't know why that's a thing, because I feel like in builds I've done in the past, that wasn't a thing, but for some reason, I had to do it with this build. I had to keep changing. So let me know if there's a way to make the lights permanent. I would love that. But yeah, I went for like a red tone in this room, which honestly I really liked. I think I do end up swapping out that lamp. But yeah, that's such a like minuscule thing, but I always like to mention it. Oh, the newspaper's gone. Oh, I don't think I realized that the newspaper had went away. Oh no. Okay, well, I can definitely add that back in. I did not even realize that the newspaper wasn't there anymore. I was actually really happy with that detail. Okay, well, there was a newspaper and I thought it looked pretty cool, but apparently it's more. Well, anyway, we're moving on to the next room. Now, can you guess this room? We have got Beetlejuice. Now, this was this was a tricky build. This was a tricky room. I have kind of like abandoned it just now to move back onto it and do the dining area. But yeah, the Beetlejuice room, which is the one that's next after I do this. Oh, I was trying to make this look very like a diner as well, which I'm hoping came across. But yeah, it was actually really difficult because I feel like I've said that with a lot of these rooms, but I feel like with Beetlejuice, the iconic room is the dining room, which is the main reason that I chose it. But I didn't want it to so much as look like the dining room from Beetlejuice. I just wanted this room to be based off of Beetlejuice itself. And for Beetlejuice, it's a very green, purple, and like black and white. And I feel like I was just trying my best to incorporate the colours, but I also wanted to include aspects from the movie, and I think I was struggling a little bit with like what aspects to include. Now, I think this room ends up looking really good. I'm so happy with it. I'm glad that I kind of stuck with what I was going for, because at one point I was like, maybe I should change this to something else, but I couldn't imagine not doing Beetlejuice in a Halloween like video. I was like, no, like that's not happening. I need to do Beetlejuice, so that I did. Now, I really love how this turned out, but this room, so I added cobwebs to this room, same as the Hocus Pocus, but the reason I bring it up in this room is because when I was playtesting, I was looking at the room and I was like, what is that? Like, what is that? And I zoomed in and it was this big like spider in one of the cobwebs. And I had no idea that when you place cobwebs down, it actually spawns spiders. Like, I did not know that was a thing. Honestly, that is so cool. Like, I feel like that adds so much to a build. It adds so much to gameplay. Like, the fact that there is spiders. And I don't know if it's an interactive thing, so I'm not sure if your Sims actually react to, like, seeing spiders and they're like, oh, like, I'm scared of spiders. I don't know if that's a thing. But yeah, either way, I thought that was super cool. And that's another fear of mine in real life. I'm scared of spiders, which I wish I wasn't. I wish I was one of those people that I'm like, nah, I'm not scared of spiders. My mom loves spiders, but I'm very scared of them. But I will say I never kill them, so don't worry. I'm not someone who kills spiders. I would never do that. But I'm just very afraid of them. They just scare me. They're very fast. I think that's what scares me about spiders. They're very fast. But yeah, here's me decorating this room. I honestly love it so much. I had so much fun with the black and white, just fluttering it up as best I could. Yeah, I really like this one. It's crazy because there's still like so much of the build left, and I'm like, we're only on like the third room. No, the fourth room. But yeah, it was a very long process, but to be fair, we're almost, well, no, yeah, we're almost like halfway through the video. But yeah, it's just, it took me so long. I think the next room we move on to is the greenhouse, and based on the movies I gave you at the start, I feel like you can probably guess what we're going to be doing for the greenhouse, but it's a really fun one. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, here's me adding quite a bit of like greenery in. I just wanted to add a few things. I thought that that little plant pot was perfect because it's literally like black and white stripes, like perfect. Okay, we're now moving on to the greenhouse. So this ends up being Little Shop of Horrors, which to me it made so much sense. There's a massive plant in here, like it made sense. I also made it the ghost version. One, because the other version, like I had to plant it and have it grow. But then also I was like, I did at one point try and replace the ghost one with the original one, just with like using cheats for it. And I actually much preferred the way the ghost looked. And we're doing a spooky house. So I thought, it's not crazy, it makes sense. And I watched my sim interact with the ghost cow plant, and she was having the time of her life. So I was like, yeah, I'm not changing this. I'm just going to keep it as the ghost. So hopefully you don't mind that. But this room honestly stumped me a little bit because I was like, how am I supposed to make this look like a shop? And I'm not going to say that I did an amazing job at it looking like a shop because I don't think it does really look like one. But it's a very small space and yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like for what I had, it works. I don't think it doesn't look like a shop. I just think like you maybe wouldn't think it was a shop. And I think this is a room that if you looked at it, you maybe wouldn't think it was based off of Little Shop of Horrors. So yeah, that's my only kind of ridicule for this one. But I actually love it so much. I still think it has so much personality. I had so much fun playing with so many plants, by the way. Like, I love plants in real life, in The Sims. I think they're so nice. They look so good. So yeah, I was having a good time. And I really like how this looks, don't get me wrong. But yeah, all I'm saying is, does it look like a shop? Maybe not. But I tried to clutter this one up so much. There's so much detailing. This is what I mean though. Like, for example, we've got this room which is so cluttered, very detailed. But then compared to like the Shining hallway, it's very plain. It's very, what's the word? Minimalist? I don't know if it is. There's like balloons in the hallway, but it's, you know, it's definitely more minimal than this one. And yeah, it's definitely a big contrast, which honestly I think is a little bit refreshing because when I was filming and when I was actually making these builds, I was like, this is quite nice because I can go from one thing to another and it didn't feel as long. Like, it didn't feel like I was building for ages because I was moving on and doing different things all the time, which, yeah, honestly, it's a big reason that I don't do massive houses very often. Now, don't get me wrong, I love a massive house. I love a generations build and I find them really, really fun to watch as well. But when it comes to me making them, as I say, enjoy them, but sometimes they do take a long time and sometimes I get, I don't want to say bored, but I get maybe like, okay, we get it, like we've done a lot of the build, I just want to hurry up. Whereas I didn't really have that with this because it was completely different. Every room was different. Like, it was, yeah, it just wasn't the same, which was really nice. Okay, now we're moving on to the bathroom. I think this is the only bathroom you see me do, if I'm not wrong. So this is the Psycho bathroom. Now, this is the classic, like, okay, that sounded like an alarm. That's not what it was meant to sound like, but you know what I'm talking about, you know. And you're probably thinking, well, how are you meant to make that? They need to add blood splatters to this game because that would have solidified this. That would have made it so much better. But what I did instead is I made it white. I made it pure white, almost eerily white. Like, whose bathroom is this white? Let's be honest. I made another one, but this is like a more of a powder room, I'd say. And then I added little red accents like the rug, a little hand towel, and yeah, maybe like a, I don't know, maybe a bathrobe here or there, depending on kind of what I was doing. But yeah, that's what I did for it, and it is very minimal, and honestly, it might seem boring, but it's genuinely like very accurate, I feel like. So you have to let me know what you think. But we're now moving on to the first bedroom. So this is the downstairs bedroom, and this is Corpse Bride. Oh, I'm so excited. I love Corpse Bride. Like, I love that movie so much. Now, when it comes to Tim Burton movies, when it comes to Tim Burton movies, I really like all of them, I would say. I'm trying to think. I mean, yeah, all of the ones that I know of and that I've seen, I like all of them. But I don't know, for me, Corpse Bride is just, I love it so, so much. Now, there is another Tim Burton one, as I mentioned. We do also have Nightmare Before Christmas in here, which, love it once again. But yeah, Corpse Bride for me is just a really, really like special one, and I had a lot of fun with this. Now, I was trying my best to kind of try and incorporate mainly, I mean, let's be honest, I feel like you can tell that this room is for Emily. Like, this room is, I feel like it has the grey for Victor. It definitely has the grey, but it's made for Emily. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's it's just, it's very Emily coded, especially the bed. The bed is like pale blue, she's pale blue, like it makes sense. Whereas I feel, you know, the cabinets are grey, Victor's very grey. I don't know. The lighting was a big one for this one, so I end up incorporating purple lights and then like more dull white lights because I really wanted to get over that Tim Burton kind of dull feeling. Because if you've ever seen any of the movies, they're very dull looking, they're very grayscale, there's not a lot of color to them, and that is part of that's honestly just part of it. I actually really want to go and watch Corpse Bride now. Like, I'm like, after this voiceover I might go and watch Corpse Bride. But yeah, it's definitely a big thing. Now, I love this room with all my heart. If you're wondering why there's a globe, there is actually a globe in their room, and this was the closest thing I could find, so I popped that in there. The little desk that I've popped in this like nook is actually what it looks like in the movie. So if you've seen the movie, I believe it's, I want to say it's sorry, I want to say it's Emily's room, but I'm thinking about it. I'm like, is it Emily's room or is it Victor's? But anyway, there's like a bed and there's a very tall desk with drawers, and then there's like lots of kind of clutter all about it. So I was trying to bring in that feel. I can't remember exactly whose bed. I think it is Emily's, but yeah, either way, I just wanted to incorporate that. Now, I do end up adding another bed to this room, and I feel like you're probably looking at it thinking, how do you incorporate another bed? But I end up putting a toddler slash infant bed in here, and I think it uses the space so nicely. What it was I found a toddler bed that had like the best like skull pattern on it, and I was like, I can't pass this up, so I ended up putting it in here as well, and I put it like underneath the shelving that I'd created, and I think it looks great. Now, we also have the rose in here. I thought that was a special detail. I do add some butterflies as well, and we also I add it quite a lot later, like once I'm done with the room, but I found a portrait picture when I was doing one of the other rooms, and it looked kind of like Emily, like it gave Emily vibes, and yeah, I popped that above the bed, which you don't see just now, but you will see it later on, and I think it looks great. Now, I got my brother to come in and I showed him all the rooms and I had him guess what they all were. And he got this room like immediately. He was like, oh, that's Corpse Bride. And I was so surprised. I was like, really? Because this is the room that I'm a little bit like scared about. I feel like it maybe doesn't come across as Corpse Bride, especially with the big bear, because I feel like the bear might throw you off and make you think, oh, it's Jack Skellington, it's, you know, it's Nightmare Before Christmas. But no, he got it immediately, and I think with the blue tones, the white tones, it just blended together really well. So yeah, I really like how this turned out. I think it looks so good. I don't know, I feel like I shouldn't be calling my own thing really good, but I just mean that I'm very proud of it. I feel like it looks like what it should, and I'm really happy about it because it took me a very long time. It was so time consuming, but I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, I had so much fun with this build. Like, as I say, it didn't feel like I was doing it for ages. It was super fun. It was a really fun project. I just love the contrast, like you kind of seen it there, but between the Hocus Pocus room and then this room, massive difference. Like, they are so different. But yeah, I did also add a canopy to this room. Just felt very Emily. And I know you're probably thinking, this is very tailored to Emily, like what about Victor? Of course, we love Victor. We do. Do we? I feel like we do, right? Right? Yeah, we do. We love him. I get, you know, we do. But at the same time, Emily's our girl. Like, I feel like she's the star of the show. It's about Emily. And now we're moving on to our next room, and this is actually the upstairs. So we're finally on to the second floor, which I think took a lot less time, but it's because we only have like 5 rooms up here. Well, maybe that's the same as the bottom. No, but we only have like 5 bedrooms. I feel like bedrooms are a little bit quick. So we're starting with this room, and we're doing Alien. Now, this one, I was like, I was like, is Alien a Halloween movie? Is Alien a horror movie? I don't know. In fact, do you know what? Let me look it up. Let me see if it counts towards. I know it's obviously sci-fi, but I don't know if it's more of like a thriller. Oh no, it is a horror. Okay, okay. Yeah, so Alien, the 1979 movie, is a horror, technically, which, I mean, it makes sense. Honestly, that movie scared me. Like, when I first watched it, I thought it was really scary. So, yeah, I didn't actually think it was classed as a horror, though. But yeah, that makes it even better. Anyway, I love the Alien movies. In fact, my mum really likes the Alien movies. I've not seen them all, but she really likes them. And I think that they're super fun. They're so different, they're so cool. And I just wanted to do something in this build that maybe was a little bit different, pulling away from that blood and gore, and I don't know, just going on a different route for horror. And I thought Aliens, doing a more green vibe, doing a more kind of, how do I explain it? Like, I don't think industrial is the word, but you know, like sci-fi kind of room. It brings a completely different feeling, and I love it. I think it looks great. I don't know, I really like this room. I think the lighting pulls it together a lot because I ended up making it green lighting everywhere, and I love it. I think it turned out really good. But yeah, hopefully you like it. As I say, it's a bit different, and I was a bit torn on, should I do Alien? But yeah, I'm happy with it. I think it's cool. So we just have one bed in here, which is not really a bed. I did consider putting this little crib in here, but I ended up not doing it. And here we go. This is when I added in the one for like this room. Now I was gonna do the pale blue again, and I did change it to the dark blue, but now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, should I have made it pale blue? I don't know. You'll see in the screenshots if I kept it as the dark blue, if I changed it. So you can stay tuned. But yeah. Also, I just wanted to take this wee moment to say, if you have made it this far in the video, I mean, thank you so much. Like, you know, like, thank you. Please feel free to like and subscribe if you haven't already, because it really helps me out. It lets me know that you're enjoying the content, and yeah, just thank you so much. But anyway, yeah, so with this build, I was trying to work out the best way to lay this room out because it's massive. This room is huge, but we've got a little sitting area. We've got, I think we end up putting a TV on this little bit that I'm doing right now, unless I'm wrong. Yeah, I'm sure we keep this. I thought it made sense because aliens are very technical, right? Maybe not the ones in Alien. Well, the people are very technical. So I thought, yeah, why not? It makes sense, right? This is a movie that I need to watch again because I don't remember as much of it as I would like to. So definitely gonna have to go back and kind of watch it again with maybe like a new perspective, and you know, be like, oh, did I get that right in my build? Did I not? But anyway, we're moving on to the next room now. So I was initially going to do the like bigger room for this, and then I decided to do the smaller room. So we are now doing Nightmare on Elm Street, and this one is really cute, but I think it's a harder one to tell what movie it is. My thought process was, well, his hat is brown. His hat's brown, right? I was pretty positive his hat's brown, and then his jumper is like the kind of black and red. So I was doing the black and red as the wall, and then I was doing the brown as the floor. And I thought that made sense, and I think it does, But I do think it is a little bit harder to tell what this room is because I didn't really know what to add to it. Now, this was a movie that I think I watched when I was younger once. And there's very specific scenes that I remember, but then there's other things that I just have completely no clue on. Like the whole plot overall, I don't really remember it. I know what it's about, and I know that Freddy Krueger kills people when they're sleeping, which is really scary. But yeah, I feel like this one I didn't know as much about, so I was trying my best to just add what I knew. And yeah, I was trying to stick to this very strict color scheme. Now, the little raccoon toy that I added, I actually ended up changing the swatch to, you know, it's like the green and red jumper. Do you know what? I'm gonna look up Freddy Krueger right now because I changed it because I was like, I'm pretty sure Freddy Krueger actually has more of like a green and red jumper. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's green and red. That's what I thought. But I've made the walls black and red. And honestly, partially because I felt like if I made them green and red, they would have just looked like Christmas. And I don't know, I feel like in some lighting, it can look black and red. So yeah, I didn't think that was a big deal. I feel like that's completely fine. But yeah, I end up changing the jumper on the raccoon. It was perfect. It was actually perfect. You need to see it. But yeah, I think I don't change it until like a little bit later on, which is really annoying. But yeah, now I didn't really know what to add to this room. I added little starlights because I thought maybe that like keeps them aware or something. Maybe, you know, I feel like having a lot of lights is very needed because like if Freddy Krueger was real, which I hope it's not, but if it was, I would keep my lights on all the time. Like, that's terrifying. So, yeah. I feel like I don't even need to explain. Just, yeah. That's where I am with that. Anyway, we are moving on to the next room now. And, oh, I'm so excited for this one. So, we have a very small room here. This is tiny, as you can see. And I thought this would be the perfect room for a toddler to live. Now, in the movie, it's not a toddler. I think he's a child. I think he's like, no way, he looks about 5. I'm really bad with being able to tell how old someone is, but I feel like he looks like 5, right? I don't know. But we're doing Chucky. So yeah, in the movie, he's not actually like a toddler. He's older than that, but I just thought this made sense for a toddler. So I decided to go with that. Now, Chucky is a movie that I used to watch all the time with like my friends growing up. So like we would sit and we would watch Chucky, and over time Chucky became more of a comedy because you obviously had like Chucky 3 where it was just like funny, and I think it definitely took that scariness away from Chucky. But my boyfriend is terrified of him. Like he is very scared of dolls, he's very scared of Chucky in general, and like he's terrified. So I don't think he ever got to the point where he could watch like the third one because he was too scared by the other one, by like the first movie that he watched. And it's understandable because that movie scares me as well. I also remember it being a very long movie. Maybe it just felt very long because I was a child, but I remember it going on forever. Oh, there's me changing the panda. And then I ended up making this like a different panda. Yeah, I knew that I did it at some point. But yeah, this is the room for Chucky. Now, honestly, I had such a vision for this room, but I was just trying to work out, okay, how do I make it look creepy? Because it needs to look like a kid's room, but it needs to look like a kid's room that is scary. I didn't want it to look like Toy Story. I wanted it to feel, you know, like horror Toy Story, which is honestly, I feel like Chucky is literally horror Toy Story. Like if your toys came to life but they were evil, that's Chucky, right? Like, yeah, right? So yeah, I feel like it definitely has the very colorful, bright vibe, but I don't think it feels super bright and fun and bubbly. I feel like it does feel more scary and dark, and I'm hoping, because yeah, that is definitely what I was going for. So yeah, this room honestly didn't take me very long to decorate because there's so much you can add for kids rooms, and I feel like kids rooms is one of my favorite things to do. So I didn't really have a problem with this room. I found it so easy, and yeah, I just had so much fun. I just kept adding things. This was one of those rooms where I was like, right, I need to stop adding things because I've added too much. I added tiny little shoes because toddlers are like, they have tiny feet. Um, but yeah, I did include a knife because I was like, we need to get across that this is a little bit evil, a little bit more scary. So there is a knife. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I tried to add like the actual Chucky doll onto the bed. I feel like that imaginary toy thing looks a bit like Chucky, right? So he's in there. And then we have some pictures, they're a bit crooked. We have a really scary photo. And yeah, and then I just made the light in red to kind of bring that scary horror vibe to it. But yeah, apart from that, I don't think there's too much else that I add to this to make it scary. But yeah, I'm hoping that it brings the vibe because I was like, I was like, how else do you do this? Like, how? Yeah, I don't know. I really like it though. I think it works well. And yeah, one of those movies I've not seen for a very long time. Let me know if there's any movies here, by the way, that you've not seen, or there's any movies that you wish that I incorporated, incorporated. Any movies that you wish I did, and also if there's any movies that like, yeah, that you haven't seen that you have seen, I would love to hear it. I find that very interesting. But we're moving on. So this is the last, no, this is the second last room of this floor. And then we have another room in the attic. So this room has an ensuite, which is pretty bougie. But this room is based after Nightmare Before Christmas. Now, this was so much fun to do. And honestly, again, I really didn't struggle with it because it was Halloween and Christmas. I mean, like, so fun. I actually, with this one, I was like, okay, I can't fit everything. I'm going to have to stop because I can't fit everything I want in here. But I love how this turned out. So we've got the pale blue for, of course, Sally. And then we've got the black and white for, of course, Jack. And I think it works really well. We've even got a skeleton in here. I don't think that's him. It doesn't really look like him. The head is not big enough. But yeah, I actually did not need a Pinterest board for this one. This was just straight out of my brain. I was like, I've got this. We've got this. We're good. We're cooking. And this is a movie that is a lot older. But I really like it, but I need to refresh my brain with it because it was more, oh, this is the photo, by the way. This is the photo I was talking about. It kind of looks like Sally. Sorry, not Sally, because I was just talking about Sally. Kind of looks like Emily. But yeah, this is a movie that I've seen, and I really like it, and I used to watch it quite a lot, but I've not watched it as much as like Corpse Bride or, you know, like other movies like Coraline, for example. So I need to watch it because I remember really liking it, and I love Sally. I think she's so cool. And honestly, I love Jack. He's just so fun, and there's a lot of just characters that I really like from Nightmare Before Christmas, and I feel like I need to watch it. Now, I know that people argue over if it's a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie, but I think I will. Well, maybe after I watch Wednesday I could watch it, but I'm thinking if I'm a little bit late, I feel like I could still watch it because we're in between Halloween and Christmas right now, so it's not crazy. It's not crazy. I feel like I could do it. I feel like that would be fine. I can watch it. You know, something with this build, it felt very weird putting Christmas decorations in because I was like, this is a Halloween build and I'm doing Christmas things, but obviously that's kind of the whole appeal. And honestly, I think it's so clever. Like, there's a few movies like that that I really like Rise of the Guardians. It's not the same, but there's like a character from every holiday in it, and I find that so fun. But here's me including the Christmas aspect. It took me ages to try and find the tree that I wanted. I do find it eventually. But yeah, I added a Christmas tree, I added some like bunting, and yeah, I just tried my best to fill it up with Christmassy things, Halloween things, and a mixture. Definitely more Halloween than Christmas because, you know, the characters themselves are more Halloweeny. And then, you know, they're just kind of like, it's Christmas, you know? But I don't know. I just had a vision of Jack with his little Santa hat on, just so cute. But yeah, I really like this room. I think this is a very fun, bubbly room. It's very sweet. It's very animated and it just feels very nice and like happy, I suppose. Whereas other rooms, like the Chucky room, it makes me feel a little bit scared, a little bit eerie. So yeah, there's definitely a big vibe switch of different things in here. Like there's a vibe change between the different rooms. But yeah, I think that's what I really like about it. So I hope you guys like it too. I really wanted to put a rug there, but I was like, stop trying to force a rug. I need another rug. But anyway, we've moved on to the last room on this floor, and then we're going to move on to the attic. So this room is, you probably can guess it based on all the items that I'm pulling out, and also based on the color scheme. But we are doing Casper. Now, Casper, let me just look this up to make sure. I don't know if there's any remakes, and I also don't know if this is the original Casper movie. So let me just double. The 1995 Casper movie. Oh, it has like a really bad rating. Okay, this was one of my favorite movies. Oh, wait a minute. That is crazy. So the girl, you know the girl that plays the original Wednesday, Christina Ricci, she's in this movie. How did I not know? And she's also the main character in this. Wait, what? That's crazy. Sorry, that is like, I'm shook to the core. That's crazy. Sorry, I'm just like looking at the photo. Okay, yeah. So, that's really, I never would have known that. Anyway, Casper when I was younger was one of my favorite movies, and I don't just mean it at Halloween. This movie, I loved it. I used to watch it all the time. I thought it was so fun. I loved Casper. He was so cute. And I hated how he was treated by all the other ghosts. Like, it made me so sad. But I love Casper. I love this movie. In fact, do you know what? I just need to go and watch these movies again because I'm like wanting to watch them. I'm feeling myself like, oh, I need to watch these. But yeah, Casper, great movie. It's all about, I feel like it's all about, I don't know, overcoming. I feel like it is about like overcoming your fears in a way because Casper is more of like he's a friendly ghost, but you know, he doesn't get treated well. He gets treated really badly. Like, people are really nice to him, but ghosts are not really nice to him. And he's himself, you know, he doesn't care. He just is himself. And I feel like, yeah, he's just so cute. He's such a sweet little ghost. And yeah, I love that movie so much. And I was like, I need to incorporate it. I thought it'd be really nice to do a room that is just white. Just like maybe a tint of blue, but mainly white. And so that's what I did. And do you know what I like about this room? At first glance, it looks kind of like a normal room. Like, I feel like you could pass this off as like, oh yeah, it's just a room and it's a little bit decorated for Halloween. Like, you could just say like, yeah, this room is Halloween. They've just put up their Halloween decorations and they just really like the color white. They just don't. They're allergic to color or something. I don't know. I do end up changing the flooring just because I felt like the contrast between the kind of like dark brown or black and then the white was just a little bit too much. I also created this little nook over here. I thought that was the cutest thing. I was actually really happy with how that turned out. I think I'm gonna have to do that in like a big build because I really like how that looks. Like, I meant more of like a family build, not like a big build. This is a big build. But yeah, I really like this this room. I think it's super sweet. I added a little easel, which honestly there wasn't much of a reason. I just wanted to have an activity in here, so I thought, why not? So we have that. I was trying to make the lighting more white because I do think it's a little bit yellow just because of the canopies, but honestly, it's not terrible, so I don't mind. But yeah, I love this room. It's super sweet, and I love this movie, so it was so easy for me to just come up with. But I think we're about to move on to the attic, and I'm so excited to share this with you all. So here we are. Now you can see that I've already curved out the walls. That is because the circus is a circle. Well, it's like a, yeah, it's a circle. It's like a circle tent. I couldn't really do a circle because of the shape, so it's more of like an oval, but hopefully that's okay. I also was a little bit annoyed because I couldn't carry the stripes all the way around, because the way it works in The Sims is like you can't do individual tiles on a curved wall, which I think is so silly. Like, it shouldn't work like that, but what can you do? So I ended up just doing it as is, but I pretty much, I don't know, I feel like for this room there's not much in it, but it just feels nice. I really like this room. So we've got like the center kind of stage bit. We end up having all the chairs circling it, and then we end up having like big kind of blocks, big like building blocks around the place, just to make it feel a little bit more circusy. And then I do also add like bunting going over the ceiling, and then also string lights, because in Coraline, this is from I'm sure it said that this is from Coraline. Oh, this was me trying to copy and paste, but it wasn't gonna work, so I do end up, yeah, changing this. So yeah, for Coraline, they go into Mr. Babinski's, and in Mr. Babinski's house, he has the tent, and then the tent has the mice, and just has literally all the cool things going on. This is like a great part of the movie, so I was like, yeah, I need to include this. Like, I knew from the beginning that I wanted Coraline to be in this build, of course, but I wasn't sure what to do from Coraline, because I feel like there's quite a few iconic things, and I think the house definitely one of them. But the circus, like, yeah, the circus is such a big one. So yeah, I added that, and I am so happy with it. I actually had a lot of trouble lining up the bunting here, but it ends up working pretty good. But yeah, I spent a long time doing the benches and stuff for this space, but because it's like sped up, it doesn't look like I struggled as much as I did, but I did. I really struggled with making them straight and making them look cohesive. So I hope that you like how this turns out. I was trying to work out the best way to do it, and I feel like this works. I feel like it looks right. So yeah, I hope you do like it. But it's such a cool vibe. I can imagine your Sims like being up here. Imagine you had like loads of them, and you could put on like little shows up here. I don't know, like, as I say, I feel like this is not a build you probably play with, so it isn't on the gallery, but obviously I might be wrong, so if you want to play with it, please just let me know. I mean, I can put it up there anyway, just in case, but sometimes I'm like, I don't know. um, but yeah, you could even just use the exterior, because the exterior is the Addams Family house, so if you even just wanted to take that and then do the inside like the actual house, you could definitely do that. I was a little bit like, oh, what if people really wanted to see the Addams Family house? And I've made every room a different build. But I thought this is a win-win, because, you know, there must be at least one movie in here that you like, right? I don't know. Maybe not, but I feel like there must be. But yeah, this took ages. See, lining these up, it does not look like it, but it took me so long. I was like, okay, how do I get this to line up with this? And trying to make them not look like they're clipping into each other. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I think it worked out kind of as I expected, a little bit better, honestly. So yeah, I'm super happy with it. With builds like these, I honestly love just getting creative, and that's one of the reasons it took so long. It was just such a big project, such a big build, so just in case you thought I'd been like abandoning you with the build uploads recently, I've just had like so many ideas and so many big projects I've been wanting to do. So that is the reason, but I am not abandoning the builds. I love building so much. So I am continuing to do so. But yeah, I think we're almost done with these, and then I think I add some, if I'm not wrong, and then we add some of the, it's like the blocks from the toddler, like for the toddlers that I added in. I put those around the place because I felt like they were very circusy. And yeah, I think that ends up being it. So I do just want to say a massive thank you all once again so much for watching. I really appreciate you. If you've made it this far, like, wow, you are amazing. Honestly, like, I appreciate it so much. Maybe comment like a circus emoji. I'm pretty sure there's a hint emoji. Sometimes I think there's emojis and there isn't. So I'm hoping that I'm sure there is, right? I'm sure there is. But yeah, thank you all so much. Honestly, it means a lot. If you did like this one, please feel free to like and subscribe if you haven't already. But yeah, just thanks again. I really hope you like the circus. I hope that you like the rest of the build, and let me know what your favorite room was. But thank you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.